I have had a doozy of a day. I will not bore you with the details. All you need to know is that this face base is done, ready and waiting for the new Natasha Denona Hyper Natural Face Palette to be slapped right on there. So let's just get right into it. Let's not waste any time. I am so excited. Give you a nice, beautiful close-up look of this gorgeous palette. It took a little bit of time for it to be delivered to me, which was strange because when I've ordered from Natasha's website in the past, it's on my doorstep within 24 hours. This time, I don't know what happened, but it took a few days. So I am a little bit late to the game on this one, but it will be worth the wait because we're gonna get right into this palette. I have swatches for you, I have looks for you. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I do wanna say that I want to review this palette based on what Natasha has said it's meant for. This is not meant for intricate eyeshadow looks. This is meant to be an everyday one and done palette. So that is the basis on which I'm going to be reviewing this. I know that when I picked this up, it was because it was a one and done shadow palette. Now I'm sure we can combine these a little bit, and we'll probably do that as I get into playing around with this palette. But I just want to keep that in mind that this is what it's meant for. It is meant for easy breezy, every day, running out the door. You want something on your eyes, but you don't have time to spend on it, or you just like that one and done shadow look, which, hello, over here, that is me. I'm in my one and done shadow era. I've mentioned before. So when I heard about this palette and that it was a one and done shadow, 5 options along with bronzer, contour, and a blush, I mean, what more could you ask for, right? Maybe a highlighter. But you can't get it all, can you? Maybe you can. But in any case, I love the layout of this as I see it. I'm going to stop yapping and we'll just get right into testing out this beautiful looking palette. The bronzers and the blushes are cream powder formulas, and the eyeshadows are a new formula from Natasha Denona. They are a gel to powder formula, except for this shade right here, which is her Wet Effect sparkly shadow. Here are the 2 blush shades. This deeper one might be maybe a little bit too bright for me, and this one might be a little bit too light for me. We'll see. We'll see when we put it on the face. Here are the 3 bronze and contour shades from lightest to darkest. And here are the eyeshadow swatches, working my way from left to right. And the palette is Everyday, Dreamy, Statement, Soft, and Casual. They swatched like a dream. They're very smooth. Okay, so now we've seen the swatches, but what does it look like on the face? Let's get down to the nitty gritty, shall we? So I am going to start off with the bronzer, then we'll do the blush, and then we'll move on to the eyes. Very mixed reviews on this palette. Some love it, some kind of like it, some it's not for them. Not everything is going to be for everybody. So that's why we're here. I'm going to give you my completely 100% honest feelings on this palette. Let's start with this. This portion over here, this little area, is the part that is making people question the claim that this is a universal palette, because this might not be deep enough for a complexion that's deeper than maybe a tan. I've swatched these, but I haven't put them on. I'm a light medium skin tone, and so we'll see how it looks on me. The other issue that I've heard is, I tend to agree, is that the little sections are not big enough to, if you only wanted to use this lighter shade, for example, it would be difficult not to pick up the shade next to it. And I do agree with that. They are a little bit tiny. Just for reference, this is not a very big palette. Like this is in the palm of my hand. I'm going to take a Rephr 18 brush. It's not humongous, so I'm just going to tap only in this lighter shade here, and I'm going to try and create a little shadow here. Now, as you can see, as light as it is in the pan, and as much as you really could not see it on my arm, right now under here, it is actually creating a much deeper shadow than I would have imagined it would. Now I'm going to flip my brush over and I'm going to go into the center middle shade and kind of work. Oh, so that's quite pigmented on me. That's actually depositing more than enough. And here's the side without. I don't know if this deep shade would be too deep for me. I imagined in my mind that I would be doing the swirly swirls on this and just grabbing all of them, which is what I'm going to do on this side. So on this side, we'll do, a layered look just to see how intense it can get. And then on this side, I'll swirl them all together so that you can see what it looks like on my skin tone all together. I'm going to grab a Mario brush. I'm actually going to use the smaller end of it. This is the F4, I believe, F2, the deepest shade, and see what it does. It's not that crazy. So it is a little bit warmer on me. This is looking very nice. So that is the lighter shade I used as a contour. Then I put the middle shade on top of that. And then I added the deepest shade, sort of almost like a gradient. But that's what we get there. And on this side, I'm going to go back into my Rephr brush, the 18, and I'm going to swirl them all, and we'll see what that looks like. I really prefer a fluffier brush. This is a beautiful brush. It's small, and I picked it specifically because these pans are so small, but since I'm swirling, I'm going to grab another brush for this. I'm going to grab the Patrick Ta. And this is maybe a little bit bigger than I wanted, but I love this brush so much. So I'm just going to tap in there, get this on my cheeks. So now that I played around with it and now that I know, here's the thing that I am seeing. The deepest shade on me, I think, is maybe a little bit warmer than I enjoy. So I think I'll be sticking to the first two. And then when I'm more tan in the summertime, I always have the option of going next door and picking up a little bit of that deeper shade. But so far, I just want to even out this side just to make them look the same. But very nice, very smooth as well. I didn't see any powder kick up at all. They feel very creamy, but they go on like a powder. No, I'm not going to put on too much more. I'm going to move on to the blush now. Grab my Rephr 05. One side, I'm going to use the lighter shade, and then on the other side, I'll pick up the darker one, and then we'll see what it looks like mixed together. So I'm picking up the lighter pink and see if this shows up on me. It does. So deceiving because on the swatches, I could barely see it. And it's not as powdery baby pink as it appears to be. I did not think this was going to work for me. I thought I'd have to do the swirl, but No, just on its own, it works. See, this is as blushy as I like to get. If you're not new here, you will know. I'm building up and it's not becoming too much. A little on my nose here, but I am very curious and I'm sure you'd like to see how that deeper blush shade looks on me as well. Going into this deeper, oh, that is very pigmented. I'm going to do a little Dusty Dew first. Let's apply that. Yeah, so it's intensifying. It's not as pigmented as it is. Mind you, I am diffusing it on the back of my hand, but it's not giving me craziness. Wow. Wow. I'm surprised. I really am. I have to say. So let's just get a little bit on the nose here. So we're even with the blush. Again, same formula as the bronzers and contours. No kick up whatsoever. Beautiful, easy application, smooth. There's a little bit of a blurring effect as well that I am seeing in my mirror here. This is good. This is good. I forgot to bronze my forehead. Silly me. Let's balance out this face. Because I took a look and I'm like, something, what's off? What's off? My gigantic forehead was off. So let's make that look just a little bit smaller and a little bit more bronzed, shall we? All right, so we're done with that. Now, I can't wait to dive into these shadows. Can you tell I'm excited? So Natasha says that you can apply these with your finger, and that's the whole point. Easy breezy, lemon squeezy. However, do I want to do that? I'm going to use a brush, and if that doesn't work, then I'll go in with my finger. We'll see. I'm just going to start off with a brush. I'm going to start with Everyday, this shade over here. When I was swatching them, they were very, very creamy. I'm going to zoom in here for you. You know what? I changed my mind. I'm going to go in with my finger. This is gliding on, very silky, smooth. It just easily is blending up onto my crease. It's a beautiful, I want to build it up a little bit more. Let's add a little bit more here. But how easy is this? This is gorgeous shade. It's understated, not as dark as it looks in the pan, but it's got a little dimension to it. These are not sparkly as they may look. When you take a look at them in the pan, they go on silky and they have like a satin finish with a little shine to them, but a smooth shine, not sparkle at all. Definitely one and done, extremely effortless application. And I love this shade. It's almost like a very, very toned down smoky eye. And so that one is every day. Every day. Every day. I could wear this every day. I'm going to skip the wet effect one. I'm going to jump over to this shade right here. It is called Statement. Oh, this one is much more intense, much darker. But you know what? With this one, because it's darker, I'm gonna grab my brush and I'm just going to, now that it's on there, initially with my finger, just work it out. That's also very, very pretty. You know, I'm not being very precise with my application. I am going to take these off so that I can try the other shades. So if it looks a little bit sloppy, I'm sorry. I also can't see very well. But Gosh, are these easy to put on? I bet you could put them on in the dark too. Like I can barely see because I have a new setup here. It's not working. Just, spoiler alert, it isn't working. So I'm kind of stuck with this setup right now because I want to get this video out for you guys. Okay, so here we have everyday and statement. Just a quick little look there. Oh, I just remembered I forgot to do my eyebrows. You're going to have to forgive me for that. Even though this one is deeper and, you know, of course you can wear it for every day, but she didn't say it's an everyday palette. She says it's a one and done palette. So this one would be super for, you know, a night out if you wanted something a little bit more dramatic. Actually, before we try on these two, I want to go into Dreamy and I want to layer it on top of each of these just to see how it changes the look. This is your sparkly shade and it does add a beautiful sparkle. It brightens it up in the center. That's all you need to elevate this. I think I also want to try this shade on its own just to see what it looks like. Let's do that. Again, of course, I don't have liner on. I don't have mascara on. This is simply for the shades just to see how they lay down on the eyelid and how they look. While I re-prep my eyes for the other shades, because these are creamy shadows, I did not powder or set down my concealer on my lid because I find when I work with cream or liquid shadows, if I have a powdered set eyelid, they don't necessarily glide or move or sit the way that they're supposed to because they start to cling to the powder and it affects their performance. So I'm leaving my lids unset. Whether you use an eyeshadow primer or if you use concealer like I am today, or if you leave your eyelids bare. It changed my mind and I think I want to go into Dreamy on its own because I don't want to isolate it to just a topper or something that can elevate the others. I want to see if it stands alone, you know? So let's get this on here. It's got that wet effect. It almost looks wet, but it's not. It's beautifully reflective. And this, oh, sorry, was I hiding my whole face? Damn it. Let's get a little bit more on here, see if we can build this up. I am also very much loving this one as a one and done as well. Soft. And it's a pink. Now, you know, pink on my eyes, as much as I want to love it, it doesn't always look the best on me. It's not as pink as it appears to be in the pan. I love these first impressions because you see me stumble through how I normally would when I'm trying a new palette. And I kind of like it. I really do. Even though it's not a color I would necessarily go for, this one is the one that has surprised me the most. Although I have needed to build it up more than the others. So there you have Soft and Dreamy. I think they look lovely. I hope y'all don't mind that I'm not mascara-ing. I think what you need to see is what the shadows look like on the eyelids versus the finished look. I'm assuming that. I hope that I'm right in assuming that, but I think this is the most important part of this. And then with my final look, I will add some mascara. Okay, moving on. just so you know, the dreamy shade, the sparkly wet effect one, is very difficult to remove. I am having a hard time removing this. And I just noticed is the only shadow in here that caused some fallout. Last but not least is this shade Casual. I'm going to go in with my finger first and start applying this. And it's kind of like a pewtery color. It's got some gray, but there's hints of purple in there. How's that for a soft smoky eye? I went a little bit too low here, that's okay. I'm gonna grab a brush just to diffuse the edges a little bit. Taking a clean Rephr 15, diffuse it along the edge here. Actually, as I do that, it's kind of changing the shade to almost a taupey brown. So it kind of almost looks like I have a transition shade in my crease here. It does not deposit a lot of pigment at once. This is something that you would have to build up, and I honestly don't mind that because sometimes you want to get more intense and other times you might want to leave it just the way it is, just with one go. Okay, so that's that on its own, and I do want to add Dreamy just in the center, just to see if you were to add this, say you had this on during the day and then you're going out for dinner and you want to schnazz this up a little bit, that will do it for you. So this shade on top of Casual intensifies the gold reflex that are in there. It looks stupendous. So that is Casual with a little bit of Dreamy on top. I'm going to take a little pencil brush. This is the Rephr 23. Thank goodness Rephr's numbers are ginormous and I can see them without my glasses. Run a little bit of this on my lower lash line. I'm going to do the same on this eye. Mascara. I'm not going to add any liner. I just want to see what it looks like without any liner. Just a mascara, and I'll be right back. This is the final look with this shade Casual with some mascara on. Just wanted to give you a nice look in natural daylight before I go. So pretty, beautiful. And I added a little bit of a pink gloss. I added the Anastasia Beverly Hills gloss, which I love. Very long lasting. Anyway, this isn't a video about gloss, is it? It is about this beautiful palette. What are my thoughts? Let's start with the bronzers. They are more pigmented and deeper than they appear to be in the pan. I mentioned that, demonstrated that. I absolutely love them. I think it's going to be me sticking to these lighter two shades and then moving over to the deeper one when I am tanned. The blushes, the lighter pink one is more impactful than it appears to be. And when swatched, these are very deceiving when swatched, both of these. And this one isn't as intense as it appears to be in the pan either. So this is a swirly, let's get married together situation for me. It totally works. I absolutely love this one. Moving on to the shadows. This is exactly what it says it is. It is a one and done, easy breezy palette. This is, I think, my favorite shade of the bunch because it gives that kind of bronziness to the eyes, but they all go on so silky. so silky and have a beautiful satin finish, and there's a little bit of reflect in there to give you that dimension, so it doesn't look flat in any way, just a smooth application. It looks smooth on the eyelids as well. I have mature eyelids, and even on those with my wrinkliness going on in my eyelids, it still went on just so incredibly smoothly. I love them all. This shade right here, the Wet Effect Sparkly shade, the only thing I will say about that is a beautiful topper, or just to pop in the center with any one of these will work beautifully. On its own works beautifully as well, but it does have fallout, definitely fallout, and is quite difficult to remove. All the other ones, no fallout whatsoever. Beautiful gel cream to powder. It's exactly how described. This one is like this one, just a little bit more intense, but not too intense that you can't wear this on an everyday basis. This one surprised me, this pinky one here, because it's kind of peach, but it didn't go on like pink where it made me look sick on the eyes. It's beautiful. It has a gorgeous depth to it. It just shears out to a beautiful pink shade. This is probably the only pink shade that I have discovered that I don't have to work too hard for in order to be able to wear it. Absolutely gorgeous. I love this one. And this one that I have the final look going on with, so surprising. It's the coolest of the bunch, and typically a shade like this would look blue on me. It happens to me all the time. I love cool shades, but they always look blue on me. This one does not. It is true to color. In fact, it has a slight purple undertone. All these have beautiful undertones, but this one in particular with that purple, but it's very subtle and it's gorgeous. I love this palette. I'm so happy I picked it up. The only thing I can't speak on is longevity. How long will these last? I'm going to keep an eye on it for the rest of the day. I do want to get this video up because I know it's been some time since this was released. So I will check in. If I'm still not done editing by the time enough time has passed to check in, then I'll take some video and I'll insert it. 7 hours later, and it hasn't moved. It hasn't faded. It looks beautiful just as it did when I first put it on. And so's the blush. Blush is still there too, and the bronzer. This is all very good news, people. All very good news. Those are my thoughts on this palette. I absolutely adore it. This is my first time using it, like I said, so first impressions do mean a lot. This would be a perfect travel palette. It's a nice size as well. Throw this in your bag, and the packaging is actually quite substantial as well. There is some nice protectiveness around here. I dropped this, yes. Then I couldn't breathe for about 30 seconds and closed my eyes while I opened it up to see if it had broken any of the pans, and it had not. I'm not saying go toss it around, but I'm saying it's sturdy enough that, you know, if by accident, you know, it kind of drops or it falls out of your hand or whatever, it's quite well protected. So I really do appreciate that. And actually, one last thing I want to mention is it does have the pins in the back, just like all of her palettes. So if you did want to take out any one of these shades and pop in maybe a matte if you wanted to, you could do that. So that is all I have to say about this palette. I love it. Are you guys going to pick this up? Are you thinking about it? Does it intrigue you? Or is it, you know, no, it's a pass for me, ma'am? I'm really curious. Let me know down below. I'd love to hear from you. And that's a wrap. with this Natasha Denona Hyper Natural palette. I hope you found this video helpful. As always, thank you so much for watching. Please do consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. That would be amazing. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.